Unfortunately, once again, I gotta be that guy, and we gotta talk about Black Lives Matter. So, this is gonna take a little while to unpack. What I'm making this video about is City Councilwoman for the city of Minneapolis, Minnesota, Alondra Cano, is in trouble today for doxing critics of her on Twitter, posting their names, addresses, and phone numbers because they were criticizing her for her very visible and obvious support for the Black Lives Matter protesters of Black Christmas, the very failed, petered out protest that was ridiculous and shameful at the Mall of America in Minneapolis. So here we have a government official posting the private information of people. She committed several felonies on Twitter in just open disregard for anything, thinking she can get away with it. And oh boy, if you want to talk about a city that shows the worst that Black Lives Matter has to offer, it's everything they've done in Minneapolis. A lot of people think, well, hey, stop, Darren. You know, there was that shooting of Jamar Clark that's very contested and nobody really knows what happened, and some witnesses say Jamar Clark was shot while handcuffed in Minneapolis. Well, probably not. Other than some reports that the guy was shot while handcuffed, most reports have stated that Jamar Clark was attacking EMTs who were helping his family, who he had been attacking in a domestic violence situation, and that he was shot while assaulting police officers. And I'm more than willing to believe that. It's not necessarily what happened, but other than some eyewitnesses offering, you know, their anecdotal evidence in the heat of all this BLM shit, that's your contention you have. Either you believe the people who say that they shot the guy not while he had his hands up, but while he was handcuffed, or that he was shot in an altercation with police who were trying to stop him from assaulting EMT workers. It doesn't sound like a winning battle for BLM. It doesn't sound like something that's going to come out their way at all. This is not a Tamir Rice situation. This is I wouldn't even say this is arguably a Michael Brown situation. This is probably a very obvious case of BLM taking the wrong side of this argument. But BLM has been harassing people in Minneapolis since well before the incidents in early September or mid-September where that shooting happened. People have already forgotten in August, just a month previous, when BLM was harassing people at the state fair for nothing. For, quote, the mayor of Minneapolis caring more about the state fair than caring about this terrorist social movement, Black Lives Matter. Well, shame on that mayor, I'm sure. But here we have a city councilwoman who is a government official who's doxing people who have criticized her involvement with a very criticizable political movement, Black Lives Matter, who's done just about everything they can to fuck up their own image and to fuck up the entire conversation about police brutality, which is one that I've been talking about for longer than Black Lives Matter has existed. But here we got a group of racists who are saying that, you know, disproportionately, you know, we got kids and mentally handicapped people and handcuffed people who are white getting shot and beat and murdered by cops, and nobody fucking cares because they're white, because this issue has been successfully made racial, where it's all about black people, all about black people, all about black people. And this issue could have been dealt with so much better if there was some measure of solidarity, where there weren't racists pointing at this side and racists pointing at that side and everybody's racist this, racist that. Nah. Cops are heavily militarized in this country. There's severe issues with protocol. There's issues with the way cops who violate the law are prosecuted, where prosecutors in their jurisdictions are forced to have to try, or not try for that matter, to indict cops who they depend on to get convictions on every other day. And then here we got this cop on the stand and they're pitching indictments left and right, trying their hardest not to prosecute these cops. So what do we need to get fixed? We need special prosecutors for cops. That needs to be mandatory. We need to have outside internal affairs organizations instead of internal affairs organizations, if you see what I mean there. We gotta stop having the government giving cops military equipment for free. We gotta have it so that cops can't just do all these no-knock raids on people and freaking, they can't have, there's no charges or fines or any sort of, you know, punishment measures for cops who do raids on the wrong houses. None of this shit. Cops have a free bill to fuck up. And when they get away with it when they fuck up. And a lot of what they're allowed to do, no matter what, is fucking bullshit. But here we got the entire narrative of the country centered around what is essentially a fucking horrible racist protest movement that cannot go a week without fucking up and doing shit like attacking students in Dartmouth, trying to shut down malls, blocking off streets, attacking the public for shit the government does, and they've racked up no small number of critics who are also black who are like, this is shameful. If there is something to be done about the issues that can be considered real about disproportionate effect of blacks in terms of sentencing and prosecution, in terms of stop and frisk, stuff like that, it's all getting lost in the quagmire that is Black Lives Matter. For everything justified and righteous that anybody, even if it's specifically blacks, have to complain about, it's lost in the midst of this bullshit, crazy-ass movement. Fuck Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. And if you disagree, fuck you too. Alright? I've had enough of this bullshit. And I can't wait for 2016 where this shit finally dies down and goes away. And whatever replaces it is something more sane, sensible, fair, based on facts, and concerned with progress. Thanks for watching.